As you may or may not know, I'm doing a book with Professor Don Hoffman, who's a neuroscientist, on the nature of reality, and it's called Beyond the Matrix: How Conscious Agents Construct the Physical Universe. So, in this short video, I want to show you the parallels between Don Hoffman's conscious agents, as he calls them, and the idea of souls as conscious agents. So I want to show you how Don Hoffman's theory of conscious agents and my interpretation of Jiva and Atman parallel each other, and also the differences. But both views, both worldviews, Don Hoffman's and mine, share the same understanding that consciousness is foundational to reality. We diverge in our frameworks and possibly even our objectives, but are hoping to synthesize these perspectives into a new understanding of what we call reality. So let's look at the parallels. Don Hoffman argues that consciousness is primary and space-time objects are evolutionary constructs or interfaces created by networks of interacting conscious agents. And conscious agents are mathematically defined entities that perceive, decide, and act. Once again, mathematically defined entities that perceive, decide, and act. My perspective, which is rooted in Vedanta, describes Atman as universal pure consciousness, the ground of being, beyond individual identity, where Jiva is the limited, ego-bound expression of consciousness. So what is the shared insight? We both reject materialism, asserting that consciousness precedes the experience of what we call physical reality. Don Hoffman uses evolutionary game theory to show perception is a fitness-driven interface, not a reflection of objective reality. Space-time and objects are icons, according to him, akin to a computer desktop. I, of course, echo the Vedantic concept of Maya, illusion, where the material world is a projection of conditioned awareness. What's the shared theme? The sensory world is a pragmatic construct, not ultimate truth. Okay, now game theory, by the way, which is what Hoffman proposes mathematically, is in a way the same thing as Leela, the play of consciousness. Anyway, let's move on. When it comes to non-dualism, Don Hoffman proposes that interactions of conscious agents create a unified reality, though agents remain distinct. I emphasize non-duality, where Jiva and Atman are two perspectives of the same consciousness. So what's the overlap? Both frameworks describe strict subject-object boundaries, but both frameworks, don't emphasize, they dissolve strict subject-object boundaries. Okay, we emphasize that the subject-object split is artificial. Okay, but there are nuanced distinctions between what Don Hoffman is saying and what I'm saying. Okay, so once again, the framework, Don Hoffman's conscious agents, mathematical models of agents and networks. Mine, rooted in spiritual philosophy, Vedanta. The objective of Don Hoffman's theories, it explains perception and reality's emergence. The objective of what I'm saying, self-realization through meditation. Don Hoffman's conscious agents, multiple agents interact to create reality. My framework, Atman is singular, universal. Jiva is its limited form, akin to conscious agents. And then, of course, Hoffman approaches the whole thing as his argument is based on evolutionary biology and cognitive science. Mind relies on introspection and what the public would call a mystical experience, although there's nothing mystical about knowing reality, which is the self of all things, but also of the individual. Now, when it comes to methodology, Don Hoffman employs formal mathematics, evolutionary game theory, to model how conscious agents generate spacetime and objects. I draw from ancient texts, Upanishads, and meditative practices to describe consciousness's transforming or transformative potential. As far as ontology is concerned, Don Hoffman proposes no inherent self, agents as dynamic processes. Similar to what I'm saying, which is Atman is the true self, realized by transcending Jiva's limitations. Again, as far as purpose is concerned, Don Hoffman aims to solve the hard problem of consciousness and redefine physics. I share the same ambition, but link it to the alleviation of suffering through spiritual awakening. So both theories challenge materialism and reorient consciousness as primary. Okay, Don Hoffman's conscious agents provide a scientific scaffold for reality's emergence, while what I call Jivatman offers a path to transcendence and self-inquiry. Our dialogue highlights converging frontiers of science and spirituality, but diverges in language, method, and maybe even ultimate goals. Let me know if this is useful, enlightening. Feel free to share it with others, and look out for our new book, okay, which is called Beyond the Matrix: How Conscious Agents Create the Material World. Take care.